Yes, that degree was, I think, about 50 years ago this year. So I've seen Virginia Tech change quite a bit in that time. Thank you for those kind words and the opportunity and true honor to really be here this afternoon. Though we're all in the same room this afternoon, but we're all really products of very complex and varied stories, containing characters and occasions that are far, far stranger than fiction. As has been often said, truth is stranger than fiction. But it's nicely concluded by our own Mark Twain, who said, because fiction is actually limited by the plausible, but truth certainly is not. I'm a product of such an implausible story, here only because my parents chose to flee Estonia and the ravages of communism during the Second World War, survived the displaced persons camps in Germany, waited for the chance to come to America. And we did come in 1949, my father, mother, grandmother, and I, without any of us knowing a single word of English, nor having a single coin, and yet we were exceedingly glad to come and begin again as Americans. I remember distinctly my father viewing the coins of America for the first time and seeing that they were made of pure silver. And they were pure silver in 1949. And he said, "We've come to the right country." Besides offering to you and yours the well-deserved congratulations of this moment, I wish to also offer you my thoughts based on how I've come to view my own passage with its particular cast of characters. Hopefully these observations will resonate with those of you who are already conscious of life's adventure and serve as a kind of a prelude to those of you that are just beginning. If you wish to see the finest of modern architecture in the United States, visit the Salk Institute in La Jolla, California, the Kimball Museum in Fort Worth, Texas, or the Exeter Library at Exeter, New Hampshire. They were all conceived by architect Louis I. Kahn, and they are sprinkled like jewels across our country. One of them should be within easy reach of all of you, and it's worth the visit. I was fortunate enough to study with this great architect, and I wish also to share some of his thoughts as I have come to understand them and as I have validated them by my own experience. Mr. Kahn, as I always called him, and so did others, stated that one could think of life as being composed. Composed. He really loved that word. Composed of four great desires that we all share and hold in common. In fact, they make our commonness possible. When we say to each other, "What a beautiful day it is today," it's through our commonness that it makes any sense. In no particular order, these desires are, first, the desire to learn. This is what we are celebrating right this afternoon, our insatiable desire to seek out the order of things, to satisfy our curiosity. The Hubble circles the Earth, the probes in space, heading to Mars with Kepler 22 on the horizon. This desire is the source of all the great libraries and universities of the world. They're all from the desire to learn. Many of you have already extended the boundaries of the known and will extend them again and again, perhaps finding some neutrinos that are going faster than light, or possibilities of cold fusion and clean energy without end. The second was the desire to meet, the origin of all the great squares and plazas on the earth, the coffee houses, the clubs, all the planes full of individuals going to meet others, drinking orange juice at 30,000 feet. From the old version of pen on paper, two facing chairs in a study, the whispers at a dance, to the modern version of Twittering, Facebook, Skype, and even Polycom, all from the desire to meet, to converse, to have friends and seek companions. For we are social beings, and we need each other to become complete. Third, the desire to express, to use our learning, to create the story, construct the place, dance on stage, compose music, guide planes, make the downhill run, the windsurfer's turn, all to express our skill, our knowledge, use it to heal, to teach, to read a poem and hear it resonate across the audience, all from the desire to express. Far more than work, it is work ennobled, the leaving behind of the track of our passage, a residue of skill, or as the ancients called it, the golden dust of life expended. And fourth, the desire just to be, to see the wonders of the world, to gaze upon the horizon line, to walk with no destination, to view the Milky Way on long summer nights, to look with amazement upon other forms of life that dwell with us, and to realize that we need them all to complete our own existence. And of course, all these four dimensions of desire to learn, to meet, to express, and just to be are not discrete. They're intertwined. They coexist, they intermingle. And even here this afternoon, they're all present, and we are fulfilled. And now, as the music says, is that all there really is? Not quite. These four desires are not only an intertwined whole, they lead to confrontations with the unmeasurable words of life. Courage, compassion, both so clearly on display at their finest last week. Justice, integrity, forgiveness, fidelity, mercy, hope, and of course, love. These and others of their kind are the words that will be confronted in all four strands of the chord, because they are really the true content of life. For we are spiritual beings, and all material things and events, even my own beloved architecture, are in the service to our spiritual adventure. Now, what does that really mean? When we say to someone, "You're a good doctor," we could pause and imagine that we could have said it, say the same words to an Egyptian doctor 4,000 years ago, when medicine was quite different. We know that knowledge was less, tools were primitive, there were no CAT scans, MRIs, antibiotics, or vaccines of any kind. And yet, we could imagine that these words were said to a doctor even then. It's because the judgment of good doctor, good teacher, good scientist, good architect, can't leave that one out. A good anyone is dependent on unmeasurable words and not measurable words, because kindness was already there. Mercy was there, patience was there, courage and certainly love was there. In fact, this is the point. It's because of the unmeasurable words, that all of the measurable words have come into being. A good doctor will study to know more, will experiment, will seek better tools, will improve skills, all from care, kindness, desire, and love. And thus, was it possible to have a good doctor 4,000 years ago? Just as there is one there in Egypt today, will be one there 4,000 years from now, but with measurable words entirely different than ours today. And so it is, all these four strands of the whole, these four great desires, it is they that will lead you in your spiritual growth. For we are spiritual beings, unique individuals, self-governing. That's the real American dream, dwelling within the unmeasurable words of our being. And thus the fulfillment of life will always depend on how well we have faced, on how well we have served in the presence of these words. And we also saw that last week. It is, in fact, how well you honor and how well you perform in relation to these unmeasurable words that will determine the trajectory of your life. And it's also why I've always loved the motto of Virginia Tech, which I heard first time 50 years ago, ut prosim, that I may serve. I heard them 50 years ago, and I have loved them ever since. Congratulations to all of you again. Thank you.